National Electrical Code Section 110.26a addresses the working space around electrical equipment. This section mandates a minimum working space in front of electrical equipment, specifying that the width of the space should not be less than 3 feet. Additionally, the depth of the working space must also be no less than 3 feet. The code does not explicitly prohibit the placement of electrical panels in corners. The primary concern is maintaining the required working clearance. Obstructions within the designated working space are not permitted if they reduce the required clearance. Therefore, placing two 240 volts panels in a corner is permissible as long as the minimum working space requirements are met and no obstructions impede access to either panel. The 3-foot width requirement refers to the clear space in front of the equipment. It should be wide enough to allow easy access and maneuvering for personnel performing maintenance or repairs. The 3-foot depth requirement refers to the distance from the front of the equipment to any obstruction behind the worker. This depth ensures that there is sufficient room for a person to safely work on the equipment without being constrained by walls or other objects. Consider a scenario where two 240 volts electrical panels are installed in a corner. Panel is mounted on one wall and panel B is mounted on the adjacent wall, forming a 90-degree angle. The working space in front of panel extends perpendicularly from the wall on which it is mounted. Similarly, the working space in front of panel B extends perpendicularly from its wall. The area where these two working spaces overlap might seem problematic, but it is not necessarily a code violation. The key factor is whether the overlapping area provides the required minimum working space for each panel. To determine compliance, visualize a 3-foot wide rectangle extending outward from the front of each panel. The depth of each rectangle must also be at least 3 feet. If these rectangles do not overlap in a way that reduces the available working space below the minimum requirements, the installation is acceptable. However, if there are obstructions within these rectangles, such as pipes, ducts, or stored materials, and these obstructions reduce the clear working space below 3 feet in width or depth, then the installation would violate National Electrical Code Section 110.26a. Furthermore, the height of the working space is also important. National Electrical Code Section 110.26a specifies the height requirements for working space. The working space shall be clear and extend from the grade, floor, or platform to the height specified in either Item 1 or Item 2 of the section, whichever is greater. Firstly, the minimum headroom shall be not less than 6.5 feet. Secondly, where the electrical equipment exceeds 6.5 feet in height, the minimum headroom shall not be less than the height of the equipment. Therefore, the working space must be clear of any obstructions up to at least 6.5 feet. If the electrical panels are taller than 6.5 feet, the clear working space must extend to the top of the panel. The location of other equipment and services in relation to the electrical panels is another consideration. National Electrical Code Section 110.26e addresses access and working space for equipment operating at 600 volts nominal or less. This section requires that sufficient access and working space be provided and maintained about all electrical equipment to permit ready and safe operation and maintenance of such equipment. It's important to ensure that other equipment, such as plumbing, HVAC systems, or structural elements, do not encroach upon the required working space. The presence of such obstructions can create hazards and hinder safe access for maintenance and repairs. In practical terms, this means that the area in front of the electrical panel should be kept clear of any items that could impede movement or pose a safety risk. This includes tools, ladders, boxes, and any other materials that might obstruct access to the panels. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential to ensure that the working space remains clear and compliant with code requirements. During these inspections, pay attention to the following. Firstly, verify that the width and depth of the working space meet the minimum requirements of 3 feet. Secondly, check for any obstructions within the working space, such as pipes, ducts, or stored materials. Thirdly, ensure that the height of the working space is sufficient, with a minimum headroom of 6.5 feet. Fourthly, confirm that other equipment and services Do not encroach upon the required working space. Fifthly, document any deficiencies and take corrective action promptly. In addition to the physical dimensions of the working space, it's also important to consider the environmental conditions. National Electrical Code Section 110.26F addresses the illumination requirements for working spaces. Adequate illumination shall be provided for all working spaces about electrical equipment. The lighting should be sufficient to allow for safe and effective operation and maintenance of the equipment. Poor lighting can increase the risk of accidents and make it difficult to identify potential hazards. Furthermore, National Electrical Code Section 110.26D addresses the access to working space. At least one entrance of sufficient area shall be provided to give access to the working space about electrical equipment. For equipment rated 1200 amps or more and over 6 feet wide, containing overcurrent devices, switching devices, or control devices, there shall be one entrance to the required working space not less than 24 inches wide and 6.5 feet high at each end of the working space. A single entrance to the required working space shall be permitted where the location permits a continuous and unobstructed way of exit travel, or where the working space has a minimum depth twice the depth of the equipment. The location of the electrical panels should allow for easy access and egress. The path to the working space should be unobstructed and well maintained. This is particularly important in emergency situations where quick access to the panels may be necessary. Moreover, the type of equipment being installed is an important factor. The National Electrical Code provides specific requirements for different types of electrical equipment depending on their voltage, amperage, and application. For example, the working space requirements for equipment operating at over 600 volts are different from those for equipment operating at 600 volts or less. Similarly, the requirements for equipment installed in hazardous locations are different from those for equipment installed in non-hazardous locations. It is crucial to consult the appropriate sections of the National Electrical Code to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable requirements. The authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, is the entity responsible for enforcing the National Electrical Code and other electrical codes and standards. The AHJ may be a local building inspector, a state electrical inspector, or another qualified individual. It is important to work closely with the AHJ throughout the planning and installation process to ensure that the project meets all applicable requirements. The AHJ can provide guidance on code interpretations, conduct inspections, and issue permits. Failure to comply with the National Electrical Code and other applicable codes and standards can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. In addition to the National Electrical Code, there may be other applicable codes and standards that must be considered. These may include local building codes, state electrical codes, and industry standards. It is important to research and comply with all applicable requirements to ensure a safe and compliant installation. Continuing education and training are essential for staying up to date on the latest codes and standards. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, with new technologies and practices emerging regularly. By participating in continuing education and training programs, electricians and other electrical professionals can maintain their knowledge and skills and ensure that they are providing the highest level of service to their customers. In summary, placing two 240 volts electrical panels in a corner is not necessarily a code violation, as long as the minimum working space requirements are met and no obstructions impede access to either panel. It is crucial to consult the National Electrical Code and other applicable codes and standards to ensure compliance. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential for maintaining a safe and compliant installation. Furthermore, consider the specific requirements for the equipment being installed, the environmental conditions, and the accessibility of the working space. Work closely with the authority having jurisdiction to ensure that the project meets all applicable requirements. By following these guidelines, you can ensure a safe and compliant electrical installation. Always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. Remember that the information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Consult with a licensed electrician or other qualified professional for specific advice on your project.